13% of Americans, 13 out of 100, have social anxiety so bad that they'll forgo their 20% class participation grade because it's worth it to not have to deal with the discomfort of raising their hand and participating in class. 40% have social anxiety to the level that it doesn't ruin their lives, but it makes them very uncomfortable socially. Think about that. Almost half of everyone that you see has social anxiety. It's so very common. A psychologist named Ellen wrote a new book called How to Be Yourself that talks about the rise of social anxiety in America. And a lot of people think it has to do a lot with social media and comparing yourself to other people and thinking that reality is a lot different than what it really is, that social reality is. But she breaks it down in this book and she gives 3 different descriptions of what social anxiety means to other people. So I'm going to go through those 3 descriptions. And at the end, I'm going to deduce down the entire book into one kind of common thought that you can use and you can think about when going out and trying to confront and combat some social anxiety that you may be experiencing. All 3 of these definitions hinge on one fear, and that's of being found out, of some deficit that the person feels is going to be exposed and then they'll be judged for it. So the 3 of them are. So number 1 is physical appearance. So the fear that someone will notice something about you. You having a bad hair day, right? Maybe you got something in your teeth. Maybe your tag is showing or something. And the fear that people will see that and judge you for that. That's a big one. The second one is for being found out about the actual social anxiety you're feeling. And this is bad because it can be a cascade effect. So you're talking to someone and the fear in your mind that they can tell I'm nervous. They can tell I'm feeling anxious. And then you're trying to ping them to find out if they really are, and it gets worse. Oh, they know. And I'm sure if you have social anxiety, I'm sure you felt this. It's kind of a cascade that gets more and more intense anxiety that builds on itself. Now, the last one, number 3, that she argues is probably the most common is the fear of being found out for having insufficient social skills. So that somebody will be talking to you and they'll be like, oh, this Barron, man, he's a dummy. He's a terrible conversationalist. He doesn't have anything going. He's a boring guy. Why did I talk to this guy? Oh, I'm stuck in this conversation with this boring guy. That is one of the biggest fears. Now, if this is something that you have a fear about, a lot of times people with social anxiety, they don't feel comfortable in social environments because they don't understand what's going on around them. They may go up to one person to talk to them and they seem to like them just fine, and the next person doesn't. So they're not confident they can consistently get that reaction. I have a program called the Social Invincibility Program that will help explain all of that so you understand what's going on around you. I'm not going to teach you about that in this, but you can go to socialinvincibility.com if you want to learn more about that there. So how do you solve it? She's worked with a lot of people on reducing and eliminating social anxiety, and she believes it's one thing. You need to lean in to the social anxiety by not being hesitant to go into these places that make you nervous or make you anxious, because that's going to only reinforce it. But the biggest thing is don't focus on yourself or your anxiety. Focus on anything else, whether it's the person you're talking to, the environment. So what might that look like? You're starting to feel some anxiety in your head and you're thinking, oh, what do they think about me? Immediately, nope. What about them? What did they say they do? What's a nice question I can ask them per one of their interests that they talk about? That would be that. That is interesting. You know, let's think about that. Immediately take your thoughts to something else. Now, if controlling your thoughts is something you have a hard time with, something that I really enjoy, it's had a big impact on my life, I'm sure you've had so many people say it, is meditation. And meditation, it's not some new age religious thing. It's just clearing your brain of thoughts. And once you've tried to do it the first time, it'll take you like 5 days if you try to do it for 10 minutes a day before you even get like a 10-second stint of no thoughts. But then eventually you get to have no thoughts and you can go for 5 or 10 minutes, however long you want, with no thoughts. And I guess that has some benefits for you health-wise and brain-wise, kind of hits the reset button. But one of the powerful side effects that I've found is it enables you to control your thoughts. So I'm thinking about something and it's counterproductive or it's not benefit, it's a worry that I have no control over. Now I can control not to think about that. A lot of people who don't meditate, they can't control that. So their brain's going crazy. So maybe you're in a conversation, like don't think about myself. Be like, oh no, you keep thinking about yourself. Meditation is a way that I've been able to really control my thoughts. So that might be something that would be good for you too. If you're thinking right now, well, easier said than done to focus on them when I'm feeling this anxiety, that might be a nice way to do it. Now, do you know what to say when you go up to somebody to start a conversation? Because understanding how to reduce social anxiety is important, but you also need to know how to maneuver in social interactions. You need to know social nuances and niceties and how to start a conversation. If you want to know a really nice way that you can start a conversation with anybody at an event or anywhere else, I've got a video where I talk about that and I'll coach you through the best ways so you have a template going into any sort of social interaction. You can be comfortable going up to people. So you can talk to that there. And you can talk to that there. I'll talk to you there. And if you want to check out that social invincibility program, click right here. I'll talk to you over there.